morning, welcome back to the channel. So a lot of interest in the solar, and there's always interest in wind. Both. Everybody knows solar, not many people know wind. So I've got the wind turbine set up here, and this is one I actually already had. It's a 600-watt wind turbine, and pretty simple. Pole buried in the ground. Got a 2-inch piece of conduit. The conduit has a hole drilled in it, which is where I run the wire up to the top. Generates AC power when the wind spins. But the wind today is, let's say 5 to 10 miles an hour. Below 10 miles an hour, it generates zero power. Right now, there is no power being generated. This is as much as anything too. I want you to hear the noise that is generated. There is enough noise. I can understand people feeling it's obnoxious. Now the wind is almost gone, and you can still hear the wind turbine going. When it really starts cranking, you can definitely hear it. Problem with the wind turbine is price. These are $600 to $1,000 for this size wind turbine. This is only 600 watts, so you're talking 2 decent solar panels. Now granted, the advantage being that it generates power whenever it's windy. Problem being, you need a really windy area. The other problem is you have a relatively narrow wind speed that it works at. So up to 10 miles an hour on this wind turbine, you get nothing. From 10 up to like 15 or 18, you get some. As I recall, about 22 miles an hour is where this wind turbine is making 600 watts. So strong wind, and that's where it's making its power. Once it starts going over that, a brake kicks in and shuts the whole thing down. So when the wind's blowing 30, 40 miles an hour, you're not getting any power whatsoever. So keep that in mind, that there's a very specific, you need constant wind of about 15 miles an hour to be making power. 15 to 20 is really what you're looking for. But I already had it, wanted to set it up. We've had particularly windy times, so I did want to, might as well be harvesting no matter what. You know, if I've got the equipment, hook it up. It cost me $30 for the PWM, I'm sorry, it's not a PWM, MPPT, which is the method used for converting the AC power into the DC power to charge the batteries. I have 48-volt batteries. This was originally for a 24-volt system, so I had to get a different electronics to run it. What I have done, and I do encourage, I do like so far it works very well, is I'm using extension cords. So off the wind turbine, there are 3 wires that run down into the pole. I have an extension cord that I cut, and I have used wire nuts and attached this for the ground, the ground, hot, and neutral. So now we might be generating a little bit of power, but not much. I'm not generating 600 watts. So now I've got the extension cord right now as a test set up, running across the ground here. And let me see if I can get it here. There we go. And so we're plugging in, and now I've got a heavy-duty extension cord running into the house. And on the charge controller, I just have an outlet. So if this doesn't work out, I'm not ruining an extension cord. I've cut one small extension cord that runs down the pipe and that plugs in right here to this extension cord. And at the other end, I just got one of the outlets, you know, the ends to a cord from a hardware store. Super easy. It took minutes to assemble. The other thing that you need to do that I have not done on this one yet, this needs to be higher. This is way too low. If I walk under that, those blades will whack me in the head. The other thing that you do need to do is you need to create a brake. This is just a brake. So it's the other end of the extension cord that I cut off. I wanted to keep the powered side as the female plug. So I took the male plug, cut it off, and I've attached with wire nuts there. I took the 3 positive ground and neutral, and hot ground and neutral, and wire nutted them together. when this is plugged in, so I unplugged the charge controller and the house power off of it. I plug this into this side. It combines all those legs together and brakes and shuts down the system. Here, I'll go ahead and actually do that for you real quick. You'll see how quickly it shuts down. So I've unplugged it, and I'm now plugging in the brake. If I can get it in, sorry, one hand. There we go, the brake's in. And you can see it instantly shuts it down. So high wind, if something breaks and this thing's going out of control, that's all you do is plug that back in. So you go ahead and I unplug it. And plug this back in. And there we go, it'll start back up again. So that's pretty much it on the wind turbines. I'm not a huge fan of them. They do serve a purpose. The big wind turbines produce a lot more power, but for the noise, the cost, the expense, I mean, just all the different things to it, I just don't find them worth the money that we're talking. But, you know, if you got one, set it up, use it. Let me plug this back in. I just keep this out here for if I need it, it's right here. So if you've got one, or you live in a specific place with specific wind conditions, absolutely. I don't have any issue with them. I'm not against them. But cost-benefit ratio, it's a very specific use case. So just wanted to share that with everybody about wind turbines. You know, let me know if you have any other questions about them. They are easy to set up. They're not crazy expensive, and it will generate power in times that are likely not to be generating electricity with my solar. So there are advantages. I'm just not sure that I would buy one if I hadn't already had one. In fact, I'm pretty sure I would not have. I would have bought more solar panels. For this cost of one of these, I could have gotten 6 solar panels generating, let's say, 200 watts on the cheap side, you know, for conservative numbers. So you're talking, 200 times 6, you're talking like 1,200 watts of power, if my math is right off the top of my head. But so I could be generating 1,200 watts of power all day long, every day, when I have sun, versus only generating power once in a while with a wind turbine. So, you know, your mileage may vary. But thank you for joining in. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. And that's the wind turbine.